With the release of MK1 Chaos Reigns, we now see what a story expansion in the new era would look like. And given the new plot points explored with the new characters and story, there is some speculation to be had about where we go next. So today I want to discuss a potential return of the Dragon King with a deception-themed MK1 expansion or even the plot of MK2 that has more setup added to it thanks to Chaos Reigns. So what has been built up further in Chaos Reigns to set up for a Deception expansion? To start off with the Dragon King himself, let's talk about Reiko and the taming of Onaga. As we know from intros and Reiko's tower ending, Reiko was sent by General Shao to Mount Sagan to defeat and tame Onaga, as he was locked away there long ago by Shao's ancestor. Though it was left unresolved in the tower ending, intros confirmed for us that he did in fact tame him. And now with Sector being added, there is a new intro with Reiko that has an update on this. Sector mentions Reiko's taming of Onaga, only for him to state that he thought he had, but he has now gone rogue. This of course sets us up for him to be a potential issue roaming Outworld, but there is a bit more to this. Along with this, Chaos Reigns also introduces some other crucial 3D era elements that can set us up for this conflict, that being the Kamidogu and our first real dragon being shown through Orin in Havoc's timeline. The Kamidogu were of course Onaga's main goal in the events of Deception, and we now know that Havoc's timeline affecting version of the Kamidogu are kept in the Temple of the Elements, at least according to Liu Kang. And you can also assume that we have our own version of the Kamidogu from Liu's timeline, which might be in the Temple of the Elements or still scattered among the realms. This can be an easy goal for Onaga to achieve similar power as before in the new era, if they want to go that route again. But there's also something a bit more interesting here. In a noob intro with Shang Tsung, Bi-Han shows interest in the Kamidogu, which makes sense given his exposure to their power in Chaos Reigns. But what adds a little more here is that Shang Tsung tells Bi-Han that he knows where the Kamidogu are located, which is a bit funny since Liu did say that Havoc's Kamidogu would be taken to the Temple of the Elements right in front of Bi-Han, but maybe he means Liu's timeline Kamidogu, or plot. What makes this exciting with Shang Tsung is what we see from Emperor Ying's dragon army in the main story. Now in the new era, this definitely doesn't have to be Onaga's army, and even there we see Shinnok's amulet, so Emperor Ying could be an alias for the new Shinnok, or Emperor Ying could have been the person that seized Onaga's army after he was locked away in Mount Sagan. So again, they could be completely separate people, but I could also see them being the same, and that Shang was either lied to by Titan Shang or it's just a change from Liu Kang, etc. This sets the stage for a potential Shang, Onaga, and Bi-Han alliance, or even Shang getting the Kamidogu for himself, but they then fall into the wrong hands, being Onaga, as he potentially steals his army back from underneath him. Now this is all mainly speculation, but there are several moving parts here that can easily set up for an Onaga conflict. That is, if they hopefully stay within Liu's timeline or the next expansion. Speaking of that though, let's turn our attention to another timeline, that being Titan Havoc's, where we get to see Empress Tanya and Orin. This is important as we see Empress Tanya speak in correct dragon tongue to Orin, which introduces that concept to be potentially used in the new era, which also ties back to another 3D era idea. In Tanya's Armageddon ending, Blaze turned Tanya into a dragon caller that could summon dragon spirits, very similar to the dragon tamer Empress Tanya that we see within Chaos Reigns. And I would hope to believe that they are reintroducing these elements, like dragon callers or Orin themselves, from Armageddon to make us more familiar with the idea before Onaga. And lastly, one of the most crucial parts to an Onaga and Deception-centric story, especially if they retell similar events, is Shujinko, who has been mentioned in intros, alongside being one of the focal points of Kung Lao's tower ending, where since Lao couldn't teach humility, he allowed Shujinko to lose control, with his new abilities and potential due to his ego, forcing Liu Kang to erase his memories and strip him of his power, which puts us at square one, for him to potentially be a big part of the story where he can regain these powers through assisting in the fight against Onaga, basically re-giving us Deception Conquest mode, and hopefully he will even be a DLC character. Let me keep wishing, I miss him too much. But with all that said, these are some elements that have been explored in MK1 and Chaos Reigns that could potentially set us up for a Deception themed story expansion, or again, even the main plots of MK2. That is, of course, if we stay within Liu's timeline going forward. so that we can tackle this alongside Xiao's rebellion or the Lin Kuei, etc. But let me know what you guys think. Would you enjoy this as a new era story arc, or would you prefer we go somewhere else? I would personally love this, and I feel it's best to continue to flesh out Lu's timeline so that things don't begin to feel redundant or insignificant. Thank you all so much for watching, and ladies, gentlemen, and MB beauties, make sure you all stay safe and stay hydrated, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.